Walking into a brand new model home, it's a lot like watching a master illusionist perform a magic trick on a Vegas
Oh,
stage.
absolutely. It's all about the misdirection, right?
Exactly. I mean, everything is meticulously designed to just draw your eye to the flash. You walk in and you're immediately hit with the sparkling quartz countertops, the perfectly placed mid-century modern throw pillows, the ambient lighting.
Usually the scent of fresh cookies baking in the oven. That's a classic one.
Yes. The cookies. It is just this complete aesthetic, sensory overload. And, the natural human response is to just kind of applaud and ask where to hand over your credit card.
Right, because it is entirely designed to captivate the emotional side of your brain. I mean, we are naturally drawn to surface level beauty. And builders, they spend millions perfecting that staging to sell you a very specific lifestyle dream,
But while you're staring at that shiny diversion, you are completely missing the actual mechanics of the trick happening right in front of you.
which is where the real stakes are.
Exactly. You're missing the structural bones of the house, the hidden contract details, and really the financial levers that are actually making the entire transaction work. And that is exactly what we're getting into today for this deep dive.
Yeah, and we have an incredibly revealing stack of sources in front of us for this one,
We really do. We're looking at internal notes and educational campaign strategies from a real estate program called New Home University.
which is just a gold mine of insider perspective.
It really is. So, the mission of this deep dive is to extract the ultimate insider's playbook for evaluating new construction homes. And we are using one specific community as our real world case study just to see how this plays out on the ground.
Right, getting out of the theory and into the practical application.
Exactly. So, whether you are actively house hunting right now or you are just insanely curious about how the real estate market actually operates behind the curtain, these notes reveal that, well, most buyers are looking at entirely the wrong things when they step onto a property. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, let's do it. The documents really are fascinating because they show us a very specific and frankly kind of rare dynamic. We are looking at an interaction between two key figures here.
Okay, set the scene for us. Who are the players?
So first we have Jubril Wilson, who goes by Coach JB. He runs New Home University, and in these notes, he is acting as this fierce consumer advocate and educator.
Okay, so he's on the buyer's side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And on the other side of the table, we have Bridget McDonald. She is a new home sales consultant for Dreamfinders Homes.
And we should mention, Dreamfinders Homes is not just some small regional player. I mean, they were recognized as the 2025 National Builder of the Year.
Right, they are a massive deal in the industry. And the notes track these two meeting up at a specific early-stage community called Montpelier Highlands, which is located at 119 Spirit Avenue in Laurel, Maryland.
Laurel, Maryland, got it.
What's fascinating here is how the source material explicitly separates their roles. I mean, you might expect a meeting between an educator and a builder's rep to read like a giant coordinated commercial for the builder.
Oh, for sure. Just a big marketing brochure.
Exactly. But it's not. It's a collaborative, yet highly analytical professional relationship. Bridget is there to present the product and represent Dreamfinders Homes. But Coach JB, he is there solely to educate the buyer.
That's a huge distinction.
It is. In his materials, he explicitly warns consumers, like, do not just buy a home because the builder won a shiny Builder of the Year award. You still have to do the grueling work of evaluating the contract, the warranty, the construction quality, and, of course, your own financial goals.
It's almost like having a defense attorney with you while you're navigating a complex legal contract. Or like an independent financial inspector evaluating the site before you sign, rather than just having someone who points out how nice the drywall looks.
That is a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
Because the builder obviously has the representation with Bridget, who is offering these great homes, but Coach JB is there to translate all those builder offerings into an actionable strategy for you, the consumer.
Right. Making sure the underlying math and the actual structure support the staged dream they're selling.
That translation layer is vital because a builder's product and a consumer's long-term reality, they just don't automatically align without active management from the buyer.
So, if the goal is to evaluate the community and the product like an independent inspector, where does this process actually begin? I mean, if Coach JB is teaching buyers to evaluate a community like Montpelier Highlands critically, what exactly is he telling them to look for when they literally step out of their cars onto the property?
It all boils down to a core philosophy he uses over and over again in his teachings. He tells his clients to, quote, notice what you are noticing.
Notice what you are noticing. I like that. It's almost meditative.
It really is.
It kind of forces you to snap out of the trance of that Vegas magic trick we were talking about.
Exactly. It forces you to become an active observer rather than just a passive consumer. It means looking way past the interior decorations and focusing on the physical, macro-level choices the builder made. And at Montpelier Highlands, the very first thing Coach JB demands buyers pay attention to is the exterior material.
Okay, what specifically about the exterior?
Specifically, the heavy use of brick.
Right. The notes emphasize this heavily. The homes at Montpelier Highlands have a very strong brick exterior presentation. And Coach JB points out that this stands out significantly compared to a lot of other new construction communities where, vinyl siding is the dominant material.
And we have to look at the mechanics of why that actually matters for you as a homeowner. The materials used on the exterior dictate a significant portion of your future lifestyle, as well as the neighborhood's long-term viability.
Because it's not just about looking nice from the street.
No, not at all. I mean, brick obviously provides incredible curb appeal, but architecturally, it gives the home a much more substantial, solid feel. It provides thermal mass, which helps regulate temperature inside the home.
Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about the temperature regulation.
Yeah, it's a big deal for energy efficiency. Plus, it creates visual consistency across the entire neighborhood. And most critically, brick generally leads to fewer exterior maintenance concerns over the lifespan of the home compared to, say, siding that can warp or fade or take weather damage over time.
Okay, I have to push back a little bit on this lower maintenance idea, though.
Okay, let's hear it.
Because, yes, brick is sturdy and you don't have to power wash it every year like vinyl. But aren't we kind of ignoring the premium you pay up front for a heavy brick home? Like, does the math on long-term maintenance savings actually offset a higher initial purchase price and the subsequent property taxes that come with a higher assessment?
That is a phenomenal piece of pushback. Seriously, and it's exactly the kind of critical thinking Coach JB is trying to instigate with his clients.
Oh, so he addresses that.
Yes, the source text explicitly addresses this potential trap. He warns against making absolute sweeping claims about maintenance savings or durability or resale value just because a home has brick. There are no magic bullets in real estate.
Right, so you can't just assume the brick magically pays for itself over 10 years.
You cannot assume anything.
Mm.
What he teaches is that buyers must evaluate the specific materials against the builder warranties, the construction specifications, and ultimately their own timeline.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right. The brick is a massive positive indicator of build quality, for sure. But it's an invitation to investigate the capital expenditures of the home further, not a reason to just turn your brain off and happily pay the premium.
Okay, verify the mechanics. I love that. And looking at the specs for Montpelier Highlands, there is a lot to verify because this is a really substantial development.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah, they are planning approximately 211 home sites here, with a build-out timeline stretching about 3.5 years. And the physical dimensions of these homes in the early phases are really striking. We're looking at townhomes that are approximately 24 feet wide, featuring 9-foot ceilings.
And that 24-foot width is another perfect example of noticing what you're noticing, because it completely changes the architectural psychology of the space.
Oh, so?
Well, a standard townhome is often around 18 to 20 feet wide. That narrower footprint can feel a bit like a bowling alley when you walk in.
Oh, yeah, like a long, dark tunnel.
Exactly. So when you expand that to 24 feet, it fundamentally shifts the interior geometry. It allows for wider sightlines, staircases that don't choke the entryway, and kitchen islands that don't just, completely block traffic flow.
But even if you're totally sold on the brick exterior and that wider footprint, the real psychological trap happens when you actually step inside and have to make a choice.
Right, the floor plans.
Yeah, because you have a budget and suddenly you're asked to choose between different layouts. The notes highlight 2 primary townhome designs here, the Westport and the Belfast. How does Coach JB teach buyers to evaluate what they're actually getting?
You have to break down the lifestyle mechanics of each layout. So let's look at the Westport first. The starting base price discussed here is approximately $549,990.
Okay, about $550K.
Right. And for that, the buyer gets roughly 2,340 to 2,484 square feet spread over 3 levels. It features 3 to 4 bedrooms, up to 3.5 bathrooms, and a rear-loading 2-car garage.
Meaning you drive down an alley or a driveway behind the home to park, which keeps the front streetscape totally clear of driveways.
Exactly. It's a very specific look and feel. Now, compare that to the Belfast. The Belfast starts higher at approximately $559,990.
So 10 grand more.
Yep. It's slightly larger, around 2,371 to 2,515 square feet. It also has 3 to 4 bedrooms and a 2-car garage. But the mechanism changes. The Belfast features a front-loading garage, and because of how that sits on the lot, it offers the opportunity for a private backyard.
Okay, so we are looking at a $10,000 gap in the starting base price. The Belfast is 10 grand more. And this is where the mental gymnastics for the buyer begin.
And this is exactly where Coach JB drops a crucial framework. He tells his clients, quote, do not just look at the $10,000 difference. Look at what you are receiving for that $10,000.
Which is such a smart way to frame it.
It is, because the sources are very careful not to declare one plan as objectively better than the other.
Because it's all about mapping the cost to your specific utility, right? Like if you don't have a dog and you absolutely hate mowing grass, paying an extra $10,000 for the foundational grading and lot size required to give you a private backyard in the Belfast, that's a terrible investment.
Right, you'd be paying for a chore you hate.
Exactly. But if you have toddlers who need a safe place to play outside, that 10 grand is probably the most valuable money you'll spend on the whole house.
It is about intrinsic value versus objective cost. You have to ask how the structural choices, front load versus rear load, yard versus no yard, how do those intersect with your actual daily routine?
You know, I noticed a detail in the floor plans that usually gets completely glossed over, but it totally speaks to daily routine: the secondary bedrooms.
Oh, yes. This is a great point.
When Coach JB and Bridget were going through the layouts, they mapped out the secondary bedrooms at roughly 11.5 by 11 feet and 11.5 by 12.5 feet. And if you have ever walked through a standard new-build townhome, you know that secondary bedrooms are usually tiny.
So small.
They're basically glorified closets designed just to legally count as a bedroom on the MLS listing.
Right, just barely fitting a twin bed. But that larger dimension at Montpelier Highlands is a deliberate design choice that actually alters the entire life cycle of the home.
How do you mean?
Well, when you have genuinely usable secondary space rooms that can comfortably fit a queen bed, a desk, and a dresser, it prevents what real estate economists call premature sizing out.
Premature sizing out. That's a fascinating term. What exactly does that mean?
It's when a family is forced to sell a home and take on all the massive friction costs of moving closing costs, new loan origination fees, moving trucks, all of that.
Which is thousands and thousands of dollars.
Exactly. And they have to do it simply because a child became a teenager and literally outgrew a 9x9 room. Or maybe because a parent permanently transitioned to hybrid work and suddenly needed a legitimate home office, not just a corner of the kitchen. A 12-foot bedroom provides massive flexibility, extending the functional lifespan of the property for the owner.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Because finding a floor plan that prevents premature sizing out means absolutely nothing if the math behind the purchase is flawed.
Right. It all comes back to the math.
We're talking about homes priced at $550,000 and up. Most people just do the standard mortgage math in their head based strictly on the sticker price. But the sources reveal that Dreamfinders Homes offers very significant builder incentives and potentially substantial closing cost assistance, provided you use their preferred financing options.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this is the hidden financial machinery of new construction that most people just don't understand.
Yeah, break that down for us.
During Coach JB's visit, they discussed a promotional interest rate of around 4.99% through the builder's preferred lending relationships.
Now, we must pause and put a massive flashing caution sign right here. The notes explicitly demand that we caution you, the listener, right now. Mortgage rates, builder incentives, lender programs, and qualifications can change at absolutely any time.
Yes, that is so important to emphasize.
That 4.99% is not a guarantee. It is highly subject to qualification, program terms, property eligibility, and availability at the exact moment you enter a contract.
That caveat is vital. But assuming a buyer does qualify, we have to look at the mechanism of how a builder offers a 4.99% rate when a national average mortgage rate might be sitting, much higher.
Right, because banks aren't a charity. Someone is paying for that rate reduction.
Exactly. The builder is paying for it. It's called a rate buy-down. Think about it. If a builder drops a home sticker price by $25,000 to attract buyers, they completely screw up the comparable sales, the comps, for every future phase they try to sell in that neighborhood.
Oh, because the next buyer will just point to that sale.
Right. The next buyer will say, well, the last guy only paid $525,000, so I'm not paying $550,000.
Ah, I see. So instead of dropping the actual sticker price of the home, they take that same $25,000 from their profit margin, hand it directly to the mortgage lender, and essentially buy a lower interest rate for the consumer.
Precisely. The home's official sticker price stays high, protecting the builder's future comps, while the consumer's monthly payment plummets because their interest rate is slashed.
That is brilliant.
It's a financial mechanism that solves massive problems for both parties. And this is exactly why Coach JB insists that buyers should never compare a new construction home and an existing resale home based only on the top-line sales price.
Because the sticker price is essentially an illusion without the financing context.
Yes, if you are looking at a $500,000 older resale home at a 7% interest rate and a $550,000 new construction home where the builder is buying the rate down to 5% and covering your closing costs.
The math totally shifts.
Completely. That $550,000 home might actually cost you significantly less out of pocket every single month. Furthermore, the new home comes with a warranty, modern energy efficiency, and zero immediate capital expenditures.
Right, you're not instantly replacing a 15-year-old roof or an ancient HVAC system the month you move in.
Exactly.
That completely flips the script on how we evaluate affordability. You know, you cannot just ask, how much is the house? You have to ask, what is my total out-of-pocket cost? And what is the underlying cost of the money I'm borrowing?
It's all about the cost of the money.
Right. And to add another layer of financial strategy to this, the notes mention that New Home University itself offers an NHU grant program for eligible clients.
Yeah, it's a great addition.
With current awards ranging approximately from $1,500 to $5,000, subject to their eligibility requirements, of course.
It's just another lever you could pull to optimize the transaction.
But to actually pull those levers to secure the Belfast floor plan with a perfect backyard, or to take advantage of these specific financing buy-downs, you have to be at the table before the deck is fully shuffled.
Timing is everything.
It really is. And this brings us to the timeline. Montpelier Highlands is still very early in its development. The model homes aren't even slated to be finished until around May of 2026.
Right, they were walking muddy lots.
Exactly. And looking at this timeline, my immediate thought was that this is just a speculative play. You know, you go in early, secure a phase one price, let the builder finish the neighborhood, and then flip the property a year later for a quick profit.
A lot of people think that's the secret.
Right. But the notes actually explicitly forbid guaranteeing appreciation or suggesting property values will instantly rise. So if it's not a quick equity play, what is the actual logical reason to walk a muddy construction lot a year before the models are even built?
The primary advantage is optionality. In real estate, options vanish the longer you wait. When you investigate a community in its infancy, you get your pick of home sites.
You actually have choices.
Yes. You can choose the exact lot that accommodates that front-loading Belfast design we talked about. You have access to all the floor plan options before the most popular configurations sell out.
And what about the incentives?
That's the other big piece. You gain access to the current round of incentives, which the builder might pull back once the community gains momentum and starts selling itself.
It's really the antidote to the panic buying we see so often in real estate, where people just take whatever's left over.
Absolutely. It allows you to track the community over time instead of rushing. Coach JB summarizes this philosophy perfectly in the documents. He says, quote, "Getting information early gives you more time and more information to make a smart decision."
And New Home University operationalizes this strategy by giving consumers a direct line to this early intelligence. If you want details on Montpelier Highlands, Dreamfinders homes, current incentives, or potential closing cost opportunities before future seminars are even publicly announced, they invite you to text or call 301-509-GRANT.
That's a great resource to have.
Yeah, that's 301-509-GRANT. Or you can visit newhomeuniversity.com to connect with Coach JB's team. The goal is to arm you with data while you still have the luxury of time to analyze it.
Which transforms the buyer from a reactive target of a sales pitch into a proactive manager of a major financial asset.
So what does this all mean? We've covered a massive amount of ground today, from the thermal mass of a brick exterior to the intricate mechanics of builder rate buy-downs. If we pull all of these sources together, what Coach JB is essentially teaching is that the new construction advantage isn't about finding a flawless magazine cover house.
Not at all.
It is about becoming a radically educated consumer. It's about being the person who walks past the scented candles, analyzes the garage placement based on actual utility, values a secondary bedroom as a defense against moving costs, and calculates the total mathematical package of the financing rather than blindly accepting a sticker price.
And this raises an important question for anyone listening today. How much financial power and leverage are you leaving on the table simply by not demanding a breakdown of the mechanics behind your purchases?
Wow.
Yeah.
That hits hard.
We are socially conditioned to be passive buyers, to let the staging and the ambiance just wash over us. Coach JB's relentless focus on uncovering the structural and financial reality is a direct challenge to that passivity. It's a demand that you take control of the transaction.
Which brings us right back to that Vegas magic show we talked about at the top of the deep dive. The builder's job is to put on a beautiful show. Their job is to build a stunning model home that makes you fall in love at first sight.
But your job, as the buyer, is to look past the illusion and inspect the gears turning backstage.
Exactly. So I want to leave you with this final thought to mull over. What if the way you've been conditioned to shop for major life purchases, focusing strictly on the beautiful aesthetic surface and the top-line sticker price, is actually a system designed to make you overlook the hidden structural and financial mechanics that truly dictate your long-term wealth?
That is something to think about.
It really is. Keep noticing what you're noticing out there. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.